What is up, guys? Digital VFX here once again, and today I have the tutorial for the winner of the drop video I posted last. Basically posted a video saying which drop you thought was the best, and I would do a tutorial, and it is going to be on Gypsy, as you can tell from the tutorial, or sorry, the title of the video. But because of the amazing feedback I got on that video, I think I checked it at 24 hours, like around the same time I uploaded it the day after, and it had like 250 comments in 24 hours, which is ridiculous feedback, and I appreciate all the feedback you guys are giving me. And you're also giving me not only which song you thought was best, but what you liked about certain parts, and it was cool for me to see a lot of feedback from you guys. So because of the great amount of response I heard back on that video, I'm going to do the top 3 in sequence. So I'm going to be doing Gypsy in this video, I'm going to be doing Prism in another one because that was the second highest, and Pilot. So those are actually 3 released songs, so they weren't just projects that were unreleased and I was working on. Those are 3 songs that I actually made and released, whether I released a preview of it on SoundCloud for my new album, or I released the full version, because with the new album I've been making, planning on releasing it later this year, hopefully. With all the work I've been putting into that, some of them I released full songs, some of them I released parts just to kind of promote it. But regardless, let's get on to it. So if you heard Megan, I don't know if it'd be on here. Yeah. Alright. Well, I don't have a seeing if I would have it on here. Yep, here it is. Alright, as you can hear, that's just the very beginning of it. I don't even know why I played the MP3 when I could just show you guys in here. I thought it'd be a little better quality though. But as you could probably hear, I just got a basic saw. I have a couple of sounds working on here. As you know, the drop is kind of a hard rock, electro-ish type of drop. It's a kind of experimental. It's kind of like the rock drop in Booty in Your Face by Dioro, which is I wouldn't necessarily say it was an inspiration for this song, but it's a song that I enjoy listening to right now. I've been into it lately, so I guess I could say it kind of persuaded as an influence towards this track. So that's where that stands. I think it was just that. I just got this Nexus classic JP Leader 1, threw the cutoff down a lot, and I kind of faded in with just a basic kick pattern. And then so I had that play for 4 measures, as you can hear. Also click on that. I just had it playing on the every other measure, and then I had a little flare at the end to kind of give it a little more of a funky feel, I guess you could say. Just gives a little more swing. It's a little more pleasing to the ears to hear that, instead of just leaving it basic. And then I had that play for 16 measures, not 4 measures. And then after the 16 measures, and for those of you who aren't very familiar with song structure, you always want to work in 4s, whether it be 4, 8, 12, 16. Normally you'd work by doubling it. You wouldn't do an odd number like after 16. You wouldn't make a 20 or 24. The progression would normally be like you either make a 4, an 8, a 16, or a 32. I've never really seen anything above a 32. 32 is even kind of pushing it lengthwise, but some people do it for the slower kind of progressive songs that let's see, would like take a while to get in, like the 6, 7, 8 minute extended mixes. You'd see those to kind of fill up a larger area of time in a song. But after the 16 measures there, I added in a hi-hat right here. As you can hear, I linked it to the mixer. It's just a kick right here. I threw the volume way down because it was really overpowering the kick, and I just wanted to be a nice little accent on top. Add a little bit of a reverb, not too much though. Left the decay down, but I turned the room size a little bit up, and the reverb, the actual reverb part of it, a little bit up. The reason being is because I wanted it to echo, but I did not want it to kind of tail into the next kick, because there's obviously 4 kicks for measures, so I wanted it to kind of hit, be a nice accent, and then get out of the way for the next kick, so it wasn't overlapping. Because for those of you who know, when you have like a reverb and it keeps adding, the reverb just gets uncontrollable, and it just kind of like, it just sounds like crap, in all honesty. What else I believe I did, sorry if I'm going kind of fast, I got the out part. You just click on any of your samples. If you didn't know, I use these buttons a lot. You can turn this a little and cut off. Same with in, you can make it a little bit less. But that's how that worked. So that can adjust. I kind of cut off the tail on that a little bit as well. As you can hear, the hi-hat's a little bit of a nice accent to it. Gives it a good sound. I like the way it complements the kick. I have a nice punchy kick. I've been liking those kicks lately. They're not really distorted, or they're kind of bassy, and they're rubbery, and they have a nice punch to them, and it's good for kind of bouncy type of music. So then I just had that pattern that you saw earlier, just kind of fade in. And then once that comes in, I added a clap every other measure on the first beat. So just, you know, gives a little progression. You always got to be adding something, you know, add something to spice it up once every like 16 measures, if you're kind of doing a progressive melody where it progressively adds a bass or a melody or a kick, snare, hi-hat, you know, if it just adds one of those extra little effects or sounds or percussion noises. So then that plays for a little bit. Then I have a couple uprising effects. Yeah, a couple uprising effects. And I also have this. This is the melody I made. Let me just play this real quick. Actually, my bad. Go on there. Here we go. Alright, so I got that melody, and what I did is I got the first 4 measures of that, and I threw it here. I could play it here so you can just hear this pattern, and you can see it's highlighted that automatically just because I dragged the sample to the first section, and it just sounds like this. Oops. And it kind of I like to do that with a lot of my tracks, and so do other famous producers. They would get the melody that is the drop, and they would kind of get a section of it and loop it in the build-up, so they wouldn't hear the full drop necessarily, but they would hear a part of it, so it's kind of getting the vibe in, and it kind of transitions into the drop really smoothly. And so that's how I did that. You can kind of hear that cut off. I have oh yeah, for the drop, I think you might have noticed, but I just use Slayer. It's a preset, actually, preset with a bunch of effects, a reverb, a filter, and Maximus. The filter is just a fade in, right here, as you can see. I just faded in the cutoff and one of the, I think that was just the volume. Yeah, okay. I thought I did another parameter on the filter, but I just did the cutoff on the filter, and then I played with the the high pass. So I think I just pretty much threw a high pass filter on there. Then I have this effect that I got from some pack. I forget where, but it's just something you put in the last 8 measures of a build up or a drop or something, and it does a bassy sub bass, and then it kind of does a little bit of a reverse crash in the middle, and it sounds kind of cool. Let me just play it. And if you listen closely, you can kind of hear in the background of the noise after the crash right here. It's kind of a, it sounds a little bit like a pitch fader, which helps for drops. I could play it one more time. It's not very distinct, but it kind of pitches up a little bit, which adds a nice little effect for the build-up. I also have a long sweep. I like the longer sweeps a little bit better than the shorter ones. And I also turned the out and in down a little bit so it wasn't as loud. Turn the volume down. I linked all my effects to the as my phone goes off. I linked all the effects to a certain channel. I don't know which one it would be. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know which one it would be, but I always link. Oh, I could just check the effects. Not that one. Oh, I guess I didn't this time. Okay, I might have just individually added them. Normally what I would do is up here, I would change that to a certain slot in the mixer, and I would denote a specific channel for effects. Normally I would add a very low volume Maximus just to kind of make the song pop and be a little more powerful. I'd also add a little bit of a reverb, and it would kind of give a nice effect to the effects, I guess you could say. That seemed to work out really well. And so that was kind of that part. So after I play the kick and the clap, I play that for 8 measures. And then it goes into this drop. It does the Morris effect there that I showed you, and it goes. Alright, so then I have that, you can see. I have the effects going up like that, and it kind of brings the intensity up. I have the clap playing for these 8 measures, and then I have it playing for 4 measures, doubling, and then, doubling, and then, I don't know if I doubled it. Yep, I doubled it, and then I put it into triplets, so it's not doubling from the, it has half notes, then quarter notes, and then instead of 1/8 notes, I have triplets. So for every 1 beat, there's 3 notes. So I kind of like triplets. They give a nice, cool little effect to a lot of EDM. I use the rule of triplets a lot for a lot of my tracks. And then so I build up, and some of my tracks I do, some of them I kind of leave out because I don't really find it fit. But I keep deleting half my project. But I leave a space. I can mute this. So then I put this Prita snare, this sound right here. You can kind of make that with a snare if you wanted. It's just some thing to lead it. I've used that effect a lot. I really like it because it's used a lot, and a lot of people recognize it and they like the sound of it. But then what I added is, because I don't have a vocal effect, or I don't have someone who could record anything at the moment, right when I was playing with this file, because this file actually wasn't supposed to be something serious. I was just messing around, and then I was like, hey, it kind of sounds cool, so I just kind of started working on it. But another, for people who don't have resources like that, who can just make vocal samples or have a library of vocal samples, you can just use a short little melody with a synth that you already built in to your song. So as you can hear with the let's see, with this right here, that synth, I made just a short little, every quarter note, it went dun, 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 and then triplets went do-do-do, and you can just hear that real quick. And it leads it really nicely into the drop. Now the drop is very, very simple. I have, as I showed you, the so I have that very distorted metal preset that I got from Slayer. And for some reason, I don't know why I was messing around with Slayer, because this is the first time I've ever used this plugin, except for like maybe 5 years ago when I just started getting into FL, and I was playing around with stuff. Ever since I know what I'm doing with FL, I've never touched this plugin. But you know, it really doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound like cheesy, like a bad sound plugin. It sounds, you know, decent quality. I mean, it's image line standard, so maybe some of you can start making some cool effects with that, knowing that it's a pretty powerful plugin. But then with that, I also have another Slayer preset. This one is distorted, dire, straights, something like that. Let's see what this one sounds like. So as you can see, it's just the it's got a little bit of a melody to it, so it's like da na 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 na, and it's got a little bit of swing instead of just whole notes. And then I also just have this the same synth, didn't mess around with anything. Normally what I would do is I would clone it and then add a little different effects so it sounded a little bit different, and without changing the beginning part of the song. But like I said, this didn't intend to be a real file or a real song, I guess. So I just left it, and it sounds really good, actually, just me leaving it alone. So it's just the same synth, and then I just played it. And it's very, very, very simple. Probably too simple, but it really works well. It kind of makes everything even, so it doesn't put a specific emphasis on a certain... Sorry about that little pause. I was pressing hotkeys on the top of my keyboard without looking, and I pressed F10, which is the hotkey to stop recording from Camtasia. So that I gotta start turning off my phone. But so that, and see here it opens. I don't want to do this. Get out of here. Okay, bye. All right. So what was I was saying that it's kind of even, and it doesn't put a specific emphasis on any particular sound in the drop. I mean, there isn't too many. There's only 3 sounds besides the kick and the clap, which kind of sounds like clap and a little bit of a distorted bass to it. I kind of like it. It works well in this song. But it doesn't put a specific emphasis on a certain noise. They all kind of fit together like a puzzle, and even though this is a very, very basic pattern, it fits well in there, and I really like it, and I don't think I would add more to it. But together, it sounds like this. And I think it sounds really well. And then what I did is I just kind of played that, and then after played that pattern twice, which is 8 measures, I added in a clap, the same clap, or a second clap. Sorry, it was yeah, it's more of a realistic clap rather than like a powerful clap. And I added that, and that doubled into a second part of the drop, which normally people would change something up, and I probably will too eventually. Well, I did change something up. I added a ride. Yeah, the ride from earlier in the song. You can kind of hear that faintly, and you could hear it after I stopped it, the echo. Like what would they do is they would do a build up, drop it, and then use that drop to eventually build up into a second part of the drop. And In the second part, they'd either have a different drop, or they would change something, a little altercation, or even just keep the drop the same. But which is kind of what I did. I just added a different little effect to it. So here's the drop. As you can hear, the clap comes in, makes it a little more louder. The whole feeling of the clap, not just the clap. But and then the build up goes here. And then I just kind of drop the same drop again. Again, I stopped it 3 measures in, added the little flare thing. I only used one build up because I'm not trying to really put a lot of energy into the build up. It's just kind of a cool little transition so people don't get bored of the original build up, or excuse me, the original drop. It's just so it doesn't get boring and it's a little more pleasing to hear, instead of just keep playing this measure for 16 measures, or this drop. And that pretty much goes into it. It's a very, very basic song. As you can see, I have like, the mixer can fit on one pattern, one page. I only have I can just see this. I have 10 inserts that I filled up, and so it's a very basic song. You can see I can fit everything right there. There isn't much more to it. It really didn't take me that long. It's a really good quality song. When I end up releasing this, yeah, I did add a mastering channel. So that's pretty much it. It's a very basic song. Oh, yeah, I'll save that. For some reason, I just opened the same thing. But unlike new teaser that's coming out, the song's coming out soon. It's called Let Me Loose. It's a little bit more of, as you can see, it's a little bit more work that was going into this one. I'm not going to play it yet. It's not quite done, but it's going to be a good track. So remember to comment, rate, subscribe on this video. Thanks for all the amazing feedback you guys have been giving me on the other, or on the drop video that led me to make this video. You can look forward to Prism and Pilot coming out soon, within the next week. I'd assume they would both be out if I think I have time to do them. But those are definitely coming out in the future, so look forward to those. And as always, been a Digital VFX production. Thanks for watching.